Waite Phillips was born January 19, 1883 in Conway, Iowa, to Civil War veteran Louis Franklin Phillips and Lucinda Josephine Fawcett Phillips. He had an identical twin, Wyatt. Wyatt and Waite were the seventh and eighth of 10 children on their 40-acre farm. Waite and Wyatt were extremely adventurous boys, and in 1899, at the age of 16, they left home and headed west. They traveled into almost every western and midwestern state, along with parts of Canada. Often they camped outside while working on railroads, cutting timber, or trapping. Sadly, Wyatt died on July 16, 1902 in Spokane, Washington from appendicitis. Wade would quietly grieve his twin brother and best friend for the rest of his life. Wade returned to Iowa, buried his brother, and went into business with his older brothers Frank and L.E. They sent him to school to study accounting, and in 6 months he decided to launch his business career. He went to work for his older brothers, originally in coal, and then he moved to petroleum. He moved to Oklahoma, where his brothers created the Phillips Petroleum Company. In 1909, he married Genevieve Elliott in Knoxville, Iowa. They had 2 children, Helen Jane and Elliott, also known as Chope. Wade was usually subdued with a need for privacy ever since losing Wyatt, but he had a passion for hard work. He threw everything he had into his work. He loved to get involved in intricate operations, and this continued even when he became one of the richest Americans in the 1920s and 30s. In 1914, he sold his interests to his brothers and started his own petroleum company. Initially, he was not successful in drilling, but after a number of agonizingly dry wells, Wade struck oil. He formed the Waite Phillips Company based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1918, and later another company called the Independent Oil and Gas Company. Both of his companies eventually hit oil in Oklahoma, making Waite and his family extremely wealthy. He sold one company and then merged them together, increasing his fortune exponentially. He also owned oil refineries, tanker cars, and gas stations. He became one of the richest Americans prior to World War II. He sold his company in 1925 to an investment firm for a whopping sum of $25 million. His huge amount of success propelled him into a new dynamic of his life. From 1925 on, he donated at least half of his income to charity. He entered the real estate market as well as banking. His love of the outdoors also led him to purchase a number of ranches in the Rocky Mountains. He spent the late 1920s and early 1930s in Tulsa managing his real estate investments and on his ranches, his favorite being the W Ranch in the Sangre de Cristo Range in northeastern New Mexico. He built a wonderful summer home called Villa Filmonte, which I have had the pleasure of touring personally. He moved to California in the mid-1930s to continue his real estate pursuits, but he deeply believed that he had a responsibility to share his wealth. In 1938, Waite donated his huge 72-room Italian Renaissance-style mansion, Villa Philbrook, to the city of Tulsa to be used as an art museum. Also in 1938, he made his first land donation to the Boy Scouts of America, about 39,000 acres and $50,000 from his beloved W Ranch in New Mexico. Later, he would donate the remaining 91,000 acres to complete the 127,000 acres of the current Philmont Scout Ranch, which I have backpacked. I can personally attest to its beauty. Waite was also well known for his insightful sayings, which have been compiled and shared for decades. he settled in Southern California and donated to countless causes for the rest of his life, until he died on January 27, 1964, at the age of 81. The University of Southern California dedicated Waite Phillips Hall in his honor. Both Wade and Genevieve are buried in Los Angeles, California.